Your proposal is the um, the plan. Okay, so your proposal's the plan. Your manuscript serves as your um, evidence, explanation, um, research, whatever you've done. And when I say research, I mean verb, not noun. Okay? So whatever ever you did through the course of your scholarly project, on paper, you may look great, but at some point you will have to defend what is in that paper verbally. You may have a PowerPoint slide presentation that you have to prepare for. You may get feedback from your committee concerning the content of your paper itself. It's imperative that you make sure that before you submit that paper that you know everything, that the ins and outs of that paper. You know what things stand for. You can explain things in a very clear-headed way. It's one thing to have it on paper, but if you can't interact in real time concerning what you've handed in, then people start to doubt that you know what you're talking about. Then you start to have people say things like, oh, you didn't pass, or oh, you need to go back and do this again, or you need to revisit this project. So the first indication that that you may not know what you're talking about is you can't explain it to somebody else. And as they're talking, you have no idea what they're talking about. They might be using words that they might be using the simplest words, but for some reason you're not able to gather yourself up to talk about whatever it is that's in your paper that has to do with statistics. You don't know. You get the point. So, what I suggest you do is take that paper and anything in there that you've put in there that you're not very clear on, make sure you're clear on it before you submit it. Because the next step after you've submitted it is to get feedback. And you can't just get upset when you get feedback. You have to actually know this stuff. And you have to actually look up things and make sure you know what this is. And another thing I want to say, because I heard something the other day, and I said to myself, girl, this is just not, this thinking is not good. This idea that because you're not a statistician, you don't have to know how to speak the language. You do need to know how to speak the language because it's not your language, it's statistics. It's statistical language. And beyond your project, beyond the scope of your program, at some point in time, you may have to publish something. You're a doctoral student. So you should have a very clear indication as to what things stand for, what they mean, and there's really no way of getting around that. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if they say, oh, but our profession is this. We're not statisticians. Yeah, you're not statisticians, but out of respect for the language, you should know how to speak the language. You should have a literacy in it. After all, the people out there that are going to review your publications are literate when it comes to statistics. They know what they're reading, they know how to pull things apart, they understand that your results are significant or that your results are showing a certain thing. And you should be able to talk to your peers who are statisticians and interact with them and not have to have, your colleague break things down to you. You are very capable of knowing how to speak the language. So don't cheat yourself when it comes to learning how to speak the language. That is all I have to say for a Wednesday. It's just food for thought. Happy Wednesday. Your proposal.